Hello, everyone. This is Stephanie Ponteau. Welcome back to English class. I hope everyone is safe and well and really using this extra time at home to practice your English. And I just want you to know you can always call me if you want to practice your English over the phone. But I want to try to support you the best way I can. So this is the Vision Church level 2 class, as you know, and this is the class for Wednesday, June 3rd, and this is part 1. And in this class, we're going to be going over page 125. Now, um, so what we're going to do is we are going to talk with a partner and change the bold words and make conversations. Now, of course, since we are doing classes um, online, I am always your partner. But before we get started, let's read through these phrases, okay, under each picture, and then we'll start the conversation. All right, so under the first picture here, ooh, this is a nice chocolatey piece of cake. I love chocolate cake. So you, some cake, they, some fruit, she, a piece of pie, number 4, they, some cheese, number 5, he, a bottle of water, 6, you, some cookies, he, some soda for number 7, number 8, she, some dessert, and number 9, you, a cup of tea. All right, so let me go back up to the top. And now you notice that with these pictures, you see some and a piece, a bottle. So when it's um, part of something that you can't really count, you would say some cake. For pie, you could say some pie. You could say a piece of cake, or you can say some cake. Same with the fruit. A piece of fruit or some fruit. Either is correct. It just depends on how you want to describe it. A piece of pie or some pie. A piece of cheese or some cheese. Now, of course, you could say some water or a bottle of water. Some cookies or a cookie. So I hope you see that you can, although they have it in our examples here, they have some and a piece. Most of these you can use interchangeably. Um, Now, you wouldn't say, if you were offering them, like with the fruit, a piece of fruit, a banana is a piece of fruit. An apple is a piece of fruit. Now, with grapes, you wouldn't offer somebody a grape, but you could say, would you like some grapes? So you wouldn't use a with grapes because grapes is not something you're ever going to offer somebody one of. Okay, so let's go back up to the top. So exercise B is pretty simple. It says, talk with a partner. You're going to change the bold words and make conversations. Now, this would be a whole lot more fun if we were in class together, but we're going to make the most of it. And these are all some really nice things to offer to someone. Some of these things I plan to have at my daughter's graduation party next week. Like I do plan to have some fruits. I plan to have some cake. I plan to have some water and a few other things. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I guess I'll change my voice since I'm supposed to be a partner to you guys. Uh, but let's just read through the example here for number 1. What would you like? I'd like some cake, please. Or you could say, I'd like a piece of cake, please. All right, so number 2. Now you got to pay attention to what pronoun is there so you can make your sentence. So, what would they like? They'd, remember the contractions that we learned from an earlier lesson, I forget which page that was. They'd, which is the contraction for they would, they'd like some fruit. Okay, number 3. What would she like? She'd, which is the contraction for she would, she'd like a piece of pie. Or you could say, she'd like some pie. All right, number 4. What would they like? They'd like some cheese. Or they'd like a slice of cheese or a piece of cheese. Because cheese comes in chunks and you can cut it into slices. Sometimes people will have a cheese tray. It'll be slices or chunks. So depending on how you're serving it, you would say they'd like a chunk of cheese, they'd like a piece of cheese, they'd like a slice of cheese. And in that case, you would use a. So you could do either one, a or some. As okay, and then number 5, what would he like? He'd like a bottle of water. Now, if you could also say he'd like some water, because sometimes you put water in a cup, it's not in a bottle. So you could say he'd like a bottle of water, he'd like some water. All right, number 6, what would you like? Now, if it's you, then your response is going to be I, right? So what would you like? I'd like some cookies. All right, so let's move on. Okay. What would he like? He'd like some soda. Or you could say he'd like a bottle of soda or a can of soda. And that depends on how you're serving it, right? Sometimes people have bottled water, sometimes people have bottled soda in bottles. You can get soda in a can, or you could get it in a cup. So he'd like some soda. He'd like a soda. Like when you go to a restaurant, you'd say, I'd like a soda. I'd like um, some soda, some tea. So either one is fine. All right, number 8. What would she like? She'd like some dessert. Now you see, can't get a piece of dessert. Not this kind anyway. So you have to say some. Because dessert, cookies, cake, all of those things are dessert. So if you're not being specific, you would just say some dessert. But if we were specifically naming the dessert being cookies or cake or pie, then you could say a cookie, a piece of cake, a slice of cake, a slice of pie. Okay? I hope that makes sense. All right. And then number 9, what would you like? I'd like a cup of tea. Or you could say, I'd like some tea. Okay? All righty. So we practice all of those. We practice in this exercise, we got to practice um, making polite offers. Because I said, what would you like? Right? And then we practice responding politely. And remember in the earlier lesson, I said, you can say, what do you want? And that's not rude, but it's much more polite to say, what would you like? Okay, instead of what do you want? It just has a more polite uh, tone to it. So either one is correct, but if you want to be super polite, what would you like instead of what do you want? All right. So that's practicing with that. Let me make sure. All right. So let's go on down to exercise 3. Now, before we get started with that one, let me read the useful language box. And the useful language box says, would you like something to drink? Would you like something to eat? Yes, please. No, thank you, I'm full. So those is useful ways to ask, to make offers. What would you like? Oh, and then so make offers politely, respond politely. And these are very nice responses here. Would you like something to drink? Would you like something to eat? And then the great and always polite responses are yes, please, and no, no, thank you. And you don't always have to give a reason. Sometimes you can just say no, thank you. And that's not rude either. All right, so a little bit more practice. Uh, 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 uh. All right, so this would have been much more fun in class because I would have brought some real food for us to use in our when we got into our little groups. It would have been fun. We could have really been offering and eating at the same time, making it really fun. But anyway, so talk with a partner, make conversations. Uh, I'm gonna change my voice, okay, for a B. Would you like something to drink? Yes, please. What would you like? I'd like some soda, please. Would you like something to eat? No, thank you. I'm full. Okay, so a little bit other ways we could practice this. This is, let's see. Would you like a soda? So now you're not just asking, would you like something to drink? You're being specific with what you're offering. Sometimes, you're making a specific offer, not just general, something to drink. Something to drink could be anything. Okay, so like with 9, it was 9, 7, and 9 are very specific. You're offering some soda and you're offering a cup of tea. So, would you like a cup of tea? Yes, please. And then you could say, what kind of tea would you like? And I have all kinds of tea in my cabinet. I have chamomile, I have black tea, I have spicy tea, I have some Chinese tea that one of my students brought me back from China. Okay, all right. So it's all kinds of ways to ask it. You can be very general or offer something very specific. All right. Let's see. What would you like? Okay. Okay, I already did that. I'd like some soda, please. Okay. Would you like something to eat? In this example, they said, no, thank you, I'm full. But I could say, yes, please, I'm very hungry. And then you could also say, if you know what you're offering, you would say, would you like a salad? If that's what you're offering, then you would be more specific in the offer instead of just saying something to me. Would you like a salad? Yes, please. I love salad. All right. And would you like a hamburger? Would you like some spaghetti? Would you like some dinner? Now, if someone made an offer like that, dinner is kind of generic, right? Because you don't know what they're having for dinner. So you could just say yes if you want to eat it, no matter what it is. Or you could say, yes, what are you having? And then if they offer you something that you don't like, you can say, oh, okay, well, thanks so much, but I don't eat chicken, or I'm vegetarian, whatever. So there are other polite ways to say no. Sometimes you don't know what someone is offering you, and you don't know if you want to say yes or no. So I hope this practice was helpful for you. We went over making offers